Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another edition of West Ham Fan TV's Post-Match Pint, the only post-match format show on the internet. We've just watched last night we watched the Manchester United West Ham friendly over in the States. It was Manchester United 2, West Ham 1. Dan, same old problems, I'm afraid.
Yep, same old problems, same old crap. Just a massive disappointment. A lot of us stayed up to watch that, and it's given me some concerns for sure. It's given me some concerns in regards to Potter. Let's start with the lineup, right? I think universally, near enough every West Ham fan saw that lineup and was like worried about that midfield and knew that midfield was going to be awful, and it was. I mean, what was your thoughts when you see
it? Listen, we've tried. I watched the whole season, and mostly the season before with the same midfield. Rodriguez is obviously in for Alvarez. I think Alvarez will be a starter. But looking at the state of the defence, I think maybe you need to step back in there, looking at the way he played for Mexico. But it's the same shit. It's the same shit. It's the same tired old legs in midfield and, a combination that doesn't work together. The starting lineup is probably the best we're going to get, bar Alvarez. And I think we was discussing it yesterday about Ryan said that it was going to be pretty much the starting lineup versus Sunderland. And I'm going to be honest with you, even with Alvarez, and I don't see, that dynamic changing, which is worrying. Paquetá, obviously, he's going to be found innocent. But when he came on, he's the only person that wanted to pass the ball forward. It's sideways, the same old shit. And just before I came on here, I was watching Newcastle. The way they knock the ball around it's like chalk and cheese. And it's got to change. He's got to address it. They're talking about this morning about addressing the goalkeeper, which we will go on, and that's their main priority now. But sometimes you don't have to put the pressure on the goalkeeper if the fucking midfield and the attack are working, and it doesn't.
I have to disagree that that's as good as we can put out, as good as we can get. Obviously, you mentioned Paquetá. From 70 minutes, when Paquetá, Fearon, and Potts came on, it was night and fucking day. Night and day. The fact that Potter has seen these lot in training and gone with those clowns, right? And I exclude Souček from this, but Rodriguez and Ward-Prowse should be nowhere near starting. I don't care if it's pre-season. For them to play 70 minutes when they shouldn't even be here next season is shocking. Is absolutely shocking. And them as three combination, terrible. And when we see the Fearon who looked like his debut for West Ham, we've not seen him before in the first team, it looked like he belonged. Potts bossed the game, right? Paquetá started to look a bit like his old self. Why is that not the midfield to start? And I swear to God, if he starts that same midfield again, I'm really close to being Potter out. I've defended him. I've backed him. I do not want to see that again, because if he plays that again, then he shows me he's a fucking idiot. And people will say, "Oh, it's his way of saying we need players. We need players." Like you're tanking your own approval ratings because he's already on thin ice as it is, and I don't care that it's pre-season. This is the tour that we have to go to build our brand. Apparently, this is the whole point of this tour, and you play shit like that. And what do you expect? And that's why I'm worried if I see anything like that.
I've got a feeling that was the last chance saloon for a lot of these players. I really do. I think there's a couple of players in there that, it's the same mistakes week after week after week. And when you look at the bench, it's not blessed with first team regulars. It isn't. But I don't think it's first team regulars at what we need. As you say, when the youngsters come on, it gives us a bit of energy in the midfield. Paquetá came on. As I say, he was the only one that wanted to pass the ball forward. But Potsy in there was excellent. Fearon was excellent. And then when you look at the performances of Rodriguez, I was watching it, and the way we lose the ball and how slow we are to react to lose balls in the midfield, even the second goal, I couldn't see who it was. I'm going to be honest with you, I was on a bad stream, but You know, Areola's passed the ball out. Areola's a fucking idiot, and we'll talk about him in a minute. But remember what it was in the midfield. I can't see if it was the striker or the midfielder was backing away from it. You know, go towards the ball.
Scott said it was full crew. I don't
Yeah,
remember.
maybe it was, but he was in a sort of a deep midfield role where somebody else should be. But you know, they're backing away from it. You go towards the ball, you at least put the pressure on. And you know, when you look at it, you know, the way we give the ball away, the chance we give away with when Kilman sort of got caught between the two forwards when he tried to fucking clear it one way and the other one snatched it. It's just fucking shambolic, you know. And if you've got to cover up your lack of defensive prowess and lack of midfield by packing it out and leaving your attack, which is, well, you know, it should be our strongest point, because Bowen I thought was excellent second half and took his goal brilliantly.
Bowen is going to be Bowen, yeah.
Bowen's going to carry the team. But if you've got to do that,
someone said Rodriguez, he's putting him in the shop window. That's why he's playing him. And I'm like, he's actually doing more harm than fucking should.
Bargain basement charity shop window, because that's where he belongs.
People are going to see that, and people will see him play, and that's going to put him off, if anything. Yeah, I don't want that. Like,
he's away for free. Give him away for free.
He's doing more harm than good. And look, Areola, I have to talk to him because he's a player I've defended in the past. Excellent shot stopper. I mean, last season he single-handedly kept us in games. Like, some of the saves he pulled off last season, excellent. But he did show yesterday why we are looking for a keeper, because those problems, what people say of him, the lack of command of his area, the general mistakes, the lack of ability to play out from the back, it's poor. I mean, that first goal, some people will put it on Diouf, but Diouf is going to go and do what he's doing as a defender. He's trying to get onto the ball and stop it. And if you're not commanding your area and you're not communicating, instead you're just panicking and jumping into it, and then you're panicking again when the ball goes down. You just throw yourself at the ball. That's on Areola. I'm sorry.
I think both goals were his fault, if I'm honest. You know, the penalty was ridiculous. You know what's even more ridiculous? The fucking haircut he's got. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it seems like a different fucking haircut every week, but
he's like the reverse of Samson. Samson got his haircut and lost his powers. He's grown his hair out and lost his powers.
Yeah, but the penalty was ridiculous. The way he conceded the second goal was ridiculous. And
he had all them options, Nick.
Yeah, I know, mate. But I'm starting to think I think the defensive problems are an Areola problem. As I said before, as you said there last season, some magnificent, like, world-class saves. But then he goes and does things like this. I don't think that he doesn't command his box. He doesn't command his line. I think the defenders are nervous of him and what he's going to do and the way he plays. And I don't think he's going to get any better. I think a new goalkeeper is. I don't think it's a top priority. I really don't, because I think before we do that, we need to address that midfield, or at least.
It's been reported that it is a top priority, seen by the club. They see it as a top priority.
It's been reported, but I'm just saying, like, unless he's going to start putting the youngsters in there, who I think at this point in time deserve to be starting. You know, at least the next friendly to show what they can do in a full game. We're always going to have these problems. We are always going to have these problems. We needed to address this as soon as the season finished. We didn't. And
I mean,
listen, they're shit, Man United. They're still shit. You know what I mean? All of these players. I watched them last night. They were shit.
We gifted them 2 goals. We gifted them 2 goals. That's what it is. That's what it comes down to.
We nearly snatched a draw at the end, which would have been fucking. I think it would have been fair on the balance of play. But there we go.
I look at that second goal from Areola. Like I said, he had options and he chose to pass it to the guy with 3 players surrounding him. So I get it. I get why we're on the hunt for a goalkeeper. We may need one soon. With the midfield, I do see it as a priority, but there's no excuses because we ain't got any new midfielders in. He has to play the same old shit. Like, the youngsters are there. There's no one can convince me.
He's got options.
No one can convince me that they would do a worse job than what we had out there. No one could convince me. And like, to see that, and the thing is, you saw like when they came on how much better we were, but it was too late. They didn't have enough time. If they came on early, and apparently he said that he was always going to give the 70 minutes. He was always going to make the change. And what's his name? Amorim did the same. But I'm convinced if we had more time in that game, we'd go and get the equaliser because we were on the front foot. And the thing is, what pissed me off as well, we played exactly the same way as we played last season and the season for that boring sideways because we had the possession in that game. We had the most possession, but we created fuck all.
Nothing. Yeah.
We created, and that's the thing, like Fulkrug, I didn't get to see him impact the game much, but this is the problem. There was hardly anything for him to do.
Yeah. He's feeding on scraps. But, do you know what? I want to talk about some positives, Dan. The positives I did see was the two youngsters that came on and was in the midfield. I think Lucas Paquetá looked decent when he came on. Bowen's still good. I thought the running of Diouf was brilliant. We just wasn't, we didn't have defenders that could find him. But if we can find that sort of passing range. But I tell you, did impress me, really impressed me. Guilherme, when he came on.
Yeah.
Guilherme was.
Yeah.
I thought
he was really good. He should have squared it to Bowen in that time. He squares it.
You got to think this is a kid that has not played much football over the last year. He got bits and pieces at the end of the season, impressed. But I thought when he came on, the running in behind and all that, he was causing problems. And that squaring the ball and all that, he's 19 or 20 or something like that. It will come. Yeah. That will come. But that is a real positive for me that we've kept hold of him. We didn't bid him off. And I think he's got a big part to play this season, Guilherme. I think he's going to be a breakout star. I think it's going to be him.
He injected some much needed pace in that side because that's what we lacked. And
I
do worry. I looked at Kilman and I see him there, and he looked quite slow. And I know it's pre-season. I hope he picks up, but chasing back for the ball. I think he was going against Højlund, and I think he was sort of just in front of Højlund. Højlund ended up over and beating him. And I think that's when Højlund hit the post. And I just looked at it and I thought, 40 million. And this is the thing, like, we've paid a lot of money for some of these players not living up to it. Areola, do you know what the other thing on Areola? He's on 100 grand a week as well. That's the other bloody thing. Yeah. You know what I mean? We can't afford to be carrying these players. And Paquetá, I'm hopeful that it will stay. It's being reported that the club have dismissed the £30 million report that we're willing to accept, and they see him as a 60 to 70 million pound player, which is a good sign because it's just pointless selling for 30 million, and that gives me some hope that if they're putting that valuation on him, then we're not so desperate to sell him, and they've found this extra pot of money or this loan or whatever it is so we can go in the transfer. Because if we're this close to signing a goalkeeper, there's got to be some money there, surely.
I think Emerson's on his way out. I've got it on good authority that he's sort of packed up.
What are we getting for him? He did fly back, didn't he? Like, what are we getting for him? Let's be real. 15
million, 10 million, something like that, maybe.
I bet we don't.
I think it's the wages. I think it's the wages that are the big one. It would have been a decent amount of wages coming from Chelsea. So, but yeah, I've got it on good authority that he's packed up his flat. So, it looks like he's going to be on his way out. But
I haven't heard him linked to any sort of club.
No.
He's on 95 grand a week.
There we go. Yeah, it's a lot of money for someone who's going to be sitting on a bench. And I've got a feeling he goes back to Italy or he goes to Brazil because that's where he's originally from. But there we go. So
yeah. I mean, looking at this team, right? We're about to sign Callum Wilson. Is there anything that you feel like Callum Wilson would change anything about what we've seen?
No. I don't think Callum Wilson plays. Listen, I'm not too worried about the forward line because I think we've got players in there that will be able to score goals. I think Bowen will always score goals, and I think we'll have Somerville and Guilherme on the left that I think will be able to score goals as well. I'm not overly concerned about a forward, although we definitely should be getting one in. I'm not overly concerned because I think if we give Fulkrug the chances, then I think he does. I think he does score goals. But I think the midfield is desperately needed. There's some legs in there, and I think that the defence really needs working on, and I think a goalkeeper needs to come in to at least press Areola because we know he can be good. But they've obviously lost their way. somewhere along the line. You know, somebody said that the goalkeeper coach has left, and that's, you know, it's caused a dip in his performances. So yeah.
Well, yeah, we got a new goalkeeper coaching, didn't we? And that's the
correct,
thing. And I'm wondering, like, what the fuck this guy's doing? He's coaching him to be worse. But he wants a goal. I think he's driving the push for another goalkeeper as well. The goalkeeper coach.
Yeah.
So it's desperately needed. Someone said that we'll be fine for Sunderland. If we see that team in Sunderland, we're getting slapped in Sunderland.
Yeah,
I tell you that
cool.
for a start. That team starts in Sunderland, mate.
When we play Everton, you know, David Moyes, he knows them players much better than anyone, a lot of them. So I think putting a couple of youngsters.
They lost 3-0 to Bournemouth, but you know. No, I'm saying they lost 3-0 to Bournemouth, but I'm telling you, that team that started Man United will lose.
Yeah.
You know, it's an annoying thing. And the thing is with pre-season, it is pre-season and you can't read too much into it, but there are a lot of things I think there are things you can take away from pre-season. But the other thing is, when you're on like thin ice, like Potter is after a bad sort of start last season, you know, it's PR points that you desperately need. And when fans are already on the you know, edge with him, when they see stuff like that, it gives doubts. Like me, like, you know, I'm behind him, but I know it's not about us losing or anything like that. It's about that team he put out for me.
Yeah.
And
he's got a chance. When is the Everton game?
Yeah. Wednesday, 11:30.
Oh, the guards might let me watch it, or I might be out by then. But
yeah, hopefully you get released. Hopefully you make bail, mate, and we can get you home. And do you know what? If I was you, though, I'd stay inside, mate. I'd say keep me in there for another season. It does look like you're in a bloody with that colour top as well that you're wearing.
Yeah, people see I saw the video yesterday. Is he in the toilet? Is he in prison? No, I'm not. I'm not in prison, and I'm not in the toilet.
He's in the corner of a pie mash shop. That's what it could be. He's locked in the pie mash shop.
Yeah, well, you know, more on that later. But I'm not in prison, and I'm not on the toilet. I can guarantee it. But yeah,
but yeah, do you know what? Just on names as well, midfield. I'll be going all out to try and get Dewsbury Hall in.
Got to get someone. I've just legs.
Yeah.
You know, we've got to get someone in, because that doesn't work. And as I said before, if he's not willing to make the youngsters or play the youngsters, then he's got to go and get something that he needs. But it's shocking that we're still, you know, a season later, and we've seen all the problems, that we're still stuck with the same bods, basically.
Yeah.
Old.
The way
like, I've got to say this as well. The Suchek chance, the header. You know what I mean? He should be burying that. He should be burying
that. He did well for the assist for Bowen. He played a good pass there, and passing's not his strong point. He played a good pass, but the heading is his bread and butter. Like, he should be burying that, Suchek.
Yeah, he should be burying that. There was chances, but it's, you know, I don't worry about Man United. Man United are shite.
They can't take anything away. They shouldn't be coming away thinking they're the bollocks, mate. Because without Areola being a clown, we win that game. Like that's what it is, you know.
That's shocking. Yeah.
As crap as we were, we win that game without those two howlers. So Man United, don't get hyped. But yeah, I just hope that Potter's not blind. You see what we all see: Potts, Paqueta, Fearon pinging the ball around like one touch passing. The way they was moving that ball was beautiful to watch. And they're not players that have played together for like consistently, and they've obviously training and stuff like that. But to be able to do that with the fact that they've never played together and on the pitch, that is brilliant. Like, I'm hopeful for that. But we just got to, like, all eyes are on Everton now. I'll be really, really looking at that starting lineup closely, very closely. And hopefully the club are working in the background to get the deals we need in. It feels like a goalkeeper, apart from Wilson, a goalkeeper is probably going to be the next one with, there's Henders, there's a Sheffield United goalkeeper, there's Suzuki. Guess it's just which one we get. But Hopefully it's the right one. That's what I hope. But that Henders is 25, so I wonder if he's going to come in and automatically be number one.
Yeah, I don't know.
We might as well have just kept bloody Fabianski. I know we do a lot of revisionism. He had his problems last season as well. Like he can make some howlers. But
yeah, I've never seen, even at his age now, I've never seen the consistency of howlers. You know, he's made howlers, certainly. But when you look at Areola, he's either really fucking good or he's just full of mistakes. That is 2 howlers in a game, 2 massive howlers in a game. I've never seen Fabianski, you know, in a tight game make that many howlers. You know, it just seemed that everything that Areola did, what was he doing? You got, as a goalkeeper, Dan, that first one, it's bread and butter, mate. I could have caught that. Yeah. He should not be dropping it. You know what I mean? Like, he should not be dropping balls like that. It's ridiculous. It's fucking ridiculous.
But the thing is, this thing about commanding his area, communication, it's not something where it's like you either got it or you haven't. Like, you can learn that. You can do that. If you know that's a weakness, then just start fucking doing it. Start shouting to the youth that you've got it. Let him know. Communicate, because he's going to obviously do what he can.
It's command of the ball. And even still, I've seen goalkeepers go over the top of people and hold onto the ball.
Yeah. That's the problem.
It wasn't like he was upended. It was a very, very simple thing to catch. But there we go.
It's frustrating, but he's going to obviously still be here next season. It'll be him and a new keeper, because we're not signing 2. People are saying we need to sign 2 keepers.
We're not going to do.
It's not going to happen at all. Fotheringham, I guess, is just a pile of shit because we never see him at all. So he obviously don't rate him, Potter. Otherwise, we might see him get the nod. But
somebody you said there, as long as it's Aaron Ramsey, that's fine. I would be very worried if we signed Aaron Ramsey for a goalkeeper.
Although I'd rather have Aaron Ramsey in goal than Ramsdale.
I think I'd rather have Ramsey than Ramsdale, yeah.
Yeah. But I get what he means, yeah. He's the one I don't want. But we need to start back in the process, what Macaulay and Potter are trying to bring in. Just get their players in, stop the salt house. That's it. You've had fucking 2 now. You've given them 2 players. You know, every season they like to give him a player. You've given him 2 this season. Enough salt house shit.
I'm going to be honest with you. If I was a manager, Dan, and he started this shit again, I'd walk out, because you're the one with your head on the chopping block. You know, it's proven time after time. He's owned his club for nearly 15 years, and it has never worked what he's done. Never.
Yeah.
And so he's starting the same cycle again. And at the end of the day, it is the manager. It happened to Sam Allardyce. Sam Allardyce, I thought, was a perfectly capable manager. Mistreated him, giving him players that he didn't want, and he didn't want to, you know, and his head was on a chopping block, and in the end, you know, he was doing very well with the squad. They informed him that they weren't going to renew his contract, and he just stopped caring, because that's the type of fucking man Sam Allardyce.
They told him, they said, play the West Ham way or you're out. What did he do? He played the West Ham way, and then they said, and we were 4th, and he said, no, you're not getting a new deal. So he was like, well, fuck you and your West Ham way. It's just, the thing is, and I want to touch on, Sullivan could learn so much from Marcinakis at Forest. The way Forest slapped Spurs about and mugged them off is a thing of beauty. They strung them along. Spurs activated Morgan Gibbs-White's release clause, right? They went, no, we're not having that. They've got Morgan Gibbs-White to sign a new deal and increase the release clause and keep him at the club, and mugged off Spurs. We could learn so much. What did Sullivan do? He bent over for Spurs.
Yeah. Fucking yeah. That's the way to run a fucking football club. He wasn't having it. I'm losing you a little bit, Dan, so I might have to wrap it up.
Yeah, I think that's me. I'm unstable. So yeah, listen. Thanks everyone for watching. Like I said, with lots of videos, lots of content. We're going to be, like I said, we're very active. You've noticed the output is up. So
can I just give a quick
back? We'll keep you up.
Give a quick spoiler. Yeah, tomorrow get involved, because if you like last man standing, there's something for you. So just don't. Last man standing is the competition. If you like last man standing, there's something coming for you tomorrow. So there we go.
Yeah. Lots of stuff coming out, so keep up to date. We're going to cover all the transfer news and all that jazz, and have some other bits and pieces. So, thank you all for watching. One thing left to say: come on, you Irons.